everybody. Welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie, Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica, and author Willow Aster.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm so glad to see both of you.
Same. We're so happy you're here. Thank you for coming on and hanging out with us today.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Of course. All right, Mandy.
All right, we'll just dive right in. So, for people who may not be familiar with your work, what types of books do you write? And is there anywhere you would recommend people start?
Well, I've written a variety of books over the years, but the last several years I've been writing small town series, and I'm really enjoying doing that. So recommending where you start, you could start with Autumn Nights would be a good place, or Unforgettable, which is book one of the Landmark Mountain series, or Mad Love, book one of Single Dad Playbook. Or you can really, or you could start anywhere. If you don't care about getting spoilers along the way, you can start anywhere. It's an interconnected, and they all, like even Autumn Nights, you'll see him in later books, and them, I should say.
Okay.
So yeah,
anywhere. I like, so in the Single Dad Playbook, are they all single dads? Like, are they all going to? Because we love a single dad around here.
Yeah, they are all, well, when book one starts, two of them are, and no, three of them are, and then two of them just like to come to the meetings because they're good friends and they like to give, be nosy.
Yes.
But then, then they, things, book five hasn't come out yet, and he's the only one that isn't an official dad, but there's a kid that he wants to foster because he's been mentoring him for this whole series. So,
okay,
Jessica, you would love this series.
Oh, I'm sure.
I've read all four.
Oh, thank you.
I love it so much.
Yeah, I mean, all I need to hear is single dad.
Yeah,
works for me.
They're all, so they bond over, they're on a football team together, and then three of them start getting together to talk about their kids because they're single dads. But then, it builds, it grows.
Okay, sounds good. I will start there with that one.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Thank
you. Since we're talking about the Single Dad Playbook series, I am really curious, where did you come up with this idea for this series?
I can't remember if I was about to start the Landmark Mountain series or was just getting started there, and I was like, oh, it would be good. And you meet Weston, who is in book one. In book five of the Landmark Mountain series, he's the brother of the heroine in that book. So I have gotten addicted to cameos and finding ways for them to all know each other. So I'm always thinking, okay, who do we know in this one that we could, jump off of? So that was, it just seemed, and I at first thought, okay, it could be like dads who meet at daycare or something, but I didn't want all the kids to be all the same ages or the dads. I wanted them to have a variety of experiences and all ages of kids.
Because that opens up different storylines for each dad.
Sure.
They were all the same age. You're all dealing with the same kind of stuff typically.
It would be boring
for
me.
It would,
right.
Right. I get it. Yeah, that would be very... Yeah, there wouldn't be a lot, because typically when your kids are all the same age and you're in the same friend group, you're all kind of dealing with the same stuff. So that was very smart on your part.
Thank you. I have to keep it interesting for me to keep going. It's not smart. It's just to stay interested.
Well, but that's the thing. If you're interested writing it, then we as readers will be interested reading it. That's the important thing.
That's always the hope.
Yes. I think you do an okay job. Yeah.
So I just finished Wicked Love, which I have to say is my favorite in the series. I loved it so much.
I'm so glad.
So I listened to it, so I loved that you had Lily D. Moore come and be Becca. That was so awesome. Where did you come up with the idea for Becca's character? Because let's be honest, while the story does focus on the couple, Becca kind of steals the whole book.
Yes, she does. I could not wait to write her book. I have a friend named Becca who has Down syndrome, and she's just such a ray of sunshine. Honestly, she steals the room every time she comes in it, So it's like, I wanted that kind of character. She's older than Becca is in this book, but I've known her since she was about this age, Becca's age. So yeah, I wanted, and Lily, I could not wait for that to come out for everyone to hear her doing it. To me, I was a fan of her when she was in Never Have I Ever. I don't know if you guys have seen that sitcom, but she's in that, and she steals the show to me every scene she's in. Yeah. So I was so excited to have her play this role.
Yeah, Mandy was telling me about it. Was it last week, Mandy? It was on one of our 1 minute book recs recently.
Yeah, the book just came out, so I listened to it right before we did our 1 minute book recs.
And that was just, I love that she's represented by an author or not an author, oh good gravy, a narrator that has Down syndrome. I thought that was pretty amazing. So
yeah, it felt wrong in every way even to ask like the adult narrators to play her, do her voice, or I really wanted it to be her. So I was thrilled that she said yes.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's exciting. It's such a great book. Oh, I just love that whole series.
Yeah, I think that was the perfect touch. So yeah,
I have been very excited for it to come out, and now book 5, I'm just ready for it to all be out.
Yes. So book 5 will end the series then, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Pen
that'll be sad.
I know. I have finished the book already, and it was sad. Bittersweet,
Yeah. Yeah. But then it's time to move on to the next thing, right?
Yeah. It's always exciting and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
So this kind of takes me into our next question. Can you share any projects you're currently working on or anything upcoming that you have going on?
So you'll meet 2 of the characters that will be in the next series. It will be in the next book. It'll be in a different location. Will not be in Colorado this time, which my last 2 series have been. So that will be or even Autumn Nights was a lot. And no. No, it wasn't. What am I saying? No, it wasn't.
I don't remember where I put them.
They visit Colorado a lot. And his brother is the one that goes to Colorado. So I've been in Colorado for a long time with these books, so it's going to be a different scenery. And it will also be small town.
When you write in a small town, like in Colorado, you're not actually in Colorado, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So is that someplace, do you choose those locations based on places that you visit and places you like to go? Or do you choose them just because it's someplace you think sounds cool or you want to place a small town?
So my husband and I fell in love in Breckenridge. And so I've always loved that little town. I have not been back much. Just, those early years. And I wish I could go back, and I just haven't.
Yeah.
And they're fictionalized towns, but there are similarities to places sometimes, or places that I wish existed, like Silver Hills in the Single Dad Playbook. I wish that town existed. If I ever find it, I want to go.
I think we all wish if there's a group of single dads meeting somewhere that all play football. I think we all kind of wish that was somewhere.
Yeah. But the coffee shop Luminary I live in Minnesota, and it's based on one here that I love called Luminary.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. So when we met you, it was Phoenix, right? Wild and Windy Phoenix.
Yeah.
Jessica always tries to say that we went to Vegas, and then I
I
was
do.
second guessing myself for a second if we met you.
I also say Tucson. I was like, we're going to Tucson. Mandy's like, I'm not going to Tucson. I'm like, oh,
Nope.
yeah.
Like, you have fun on your trip, Jessica.
Hey, I was in the right state when I'd say Tucson.
That is
At least.
closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because Mandy books our trips, and I just show up at the airport when I'm told to.
You don't even know where you're going and probably
Mhm.
don't care. You're just
No,
like,
I ask her if am I packing shorts or pants, and that's pretty much all I need to know. So, yeah, just tell me when to be at the airport. I'll be there.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So when we met you in Phoenix, your husband was there, and we were standing in line to chat with you and get books signed. And your husband was telling us about your guys' love story. It was very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that you can read a lot about in True Love Story, which is not all true, but a lot of it is. Like we were broken up. We did run into each other and have seats on the same plane next to each other. So that really did happen. So
that's just so cool. That's just amazing how that played out.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I needed that good shaking to be like, okay, it's time that I go back to him.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I know sometimes when you read books and there's like things that seem like coincidental in there, and people will sometimes harp on that in reviews, like, oh, da da da. But like things like that happen in real life. There's
Right.
crazy things that happen. And so it's not, unless an author just overloads their book with like way too many things that are hard to keep up, like those coincidences are part of normal life.
Yeah. I did have to giggle when I would read reviews on that one because there were a lot that would be like, this would never happen. I'm like, oh, yeah.
But it does.
It did, and it does. Yeah.
Those little things. I mean, I was even telling Mandy I was at an event in February after Wild and Windy. I was at a different one, and I was with a friend talking to vendors, and these vendors were actually from I grew up, part of my growing up days were in a very small town in Alaska. Like we had 98 kids in kindergarten through 12th grade. These girls were from the same area. They knew my family. They knew our name. They knew all the kids I graduated with.
Wow.
And it was like, just weird things like that. Like you'd never think that you'd run into people like that. So those weird things do happen quite often.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just talked to someone recently who had something like that happen on the airplane. I think they were like on the same row and they hadn't seen each other in years. And
Yeah. It's always crazy. It's cool when it happens, though.
Yeah.
There's a reason that people say it's a small world. Yeah.
Definitely.
True.
Okay, so I know this is always a hard question, but we love to ask it anyways. Do you have a favorite character or a favorite book you've written?
Well, for the longest, my favorite was In the Fields. That one, it took the longest to write. It's the first, well, I can't say it's the first, it's not the first book I wrote, but it's the first book that I wanted, that I felt like this should be published. The other one was not good. And I just, I really, I cared so much about that story. I wanted to get it right. But then when I wrote Reckless Love, I fell in love with those characters so much that I was like, okay, this one might be my new favorite. And I don't always say that. I just have always said In the Fields,
Yeah.
But I did really enjoy. I had so much fun writing that book.
Jessica, you might remember me talking about that book. It's the one where she gets in the car and has her audiobook going and she can't get it to turn off and he gets in with her.
Yes.
Which is
We've
totally
all
relatable.
been there.
Yes.
All have been there.
Yes. I was
Typically, it's
there
our
this week
kids.
with my dad.
Oh
Yeah. I'm trying to like.
No, thank you. My dad's a pastor, so I would. But typically, when we drive to my parents' house, it's like a 5-hour drive, and I have my kids with me in the car. So my book's not going to pick up because I've turned it off at that point. And I'm actually kind of grumping to myself that I have a 5-hour drive and I can't listen to a book typically. But, but I would be mortified if my dad got it. Probably even more than my teenagers hearing something. So, yeah.
Fortunately, not fortunately, because I feel so bad for him, but he's having ear problems right now. I'm like, maybe he didn't even hear that.
He didn't hear it.
Because it's always in the embarrassing parts. It's
in a
never
dirty part, always.
We walked into a coffee shop together, da-da-da-da. No, it's like in the throes of something.
Yeah.
The throes of passion.
Yes, exactly. So I remember getting in the car with my son. He was still in high school. So it's been, I mean, he's only 19 now, but I think he was 16 or 17. And the male member C word was used immediately and something about a throat. And he was like, Mom! And I'm like, shoot, I was like, it's not what you think. And he's like, really? What else can it be? So, yeah.
Oh, awful.
I tried.
We're talking about chicken, the male rooster.
And having it's like a frog in your throat, but in other places in the country they say chicken.
Yes.
I should have said that.
Oh, gosh. Funny. It is mortifying when it happens.
It really is.
But Elle's dad in that book is also a pastor. So she has it kind of challenging times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did you become a romance writer?
I have always loved love stories. Just my brother he's 8 years older. He always wanted to watch cartoons and I wanted to watch the sitcoms and follow the love story that was in there. And I just always have loved that. And I wrote like angsty poems and songs. But romance was and I like writing thrillers and women's fiction too, but there always is like that undercurrent of romance in there. So it's my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to have a love story. And I'll tell you, I'm a huge history buff, but I look for the love stories. I want the story when you're telling me about history.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not going to remember anything. I don't care about the dates. Just tell me what happened.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Same.
Yes. So when you're writing, we always find this fascinating because every author has a different process. So do you have what is your writing process? Do you do an outline? Do you just sit and write? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I want so badly to have an outline and have it all, but I'm more of a plantser. And I will have a notebook. Like when I first start out, I'll have the names, the tropes, the ages, what they look like, and the general, like a little bit of what happens in the book. But then as I get going, I like to have at least 5 chapters, like more specific. And that can kind of change as I go. So it's not exactly an outline, but it's one of sorts. And I work in Scrivener, so I'll just kind of put it in the sidelines for each chapter, what I do have, and then either stick with that or don't stick with that.
So are you the type of writer, because there's all different types, but do you write start to finish, or do you write certain chapters and then piece them together and fill in the blanks?
I prefer to write start to finish, but there are times like if I'm struggling to figure out a scene, I will jump ahead to one that I know, but that's kind of rare. And it's getting harder for me to do that now. It's like if the first chapter doesn't feel right, I can be stuck for days. Just I've got to rewrite that first chapter 5 times and it'll be completely different every time. And then it's like, okay, that's what it's supposed to be. And then I can kind of move on.
So I know there's been several authors that have told us that they don't write the spicy scenes until the very end because they honestly don't love the spicy scenes. I mean, they know it's necessary, they like them, but it's something they struggle with, so they go back and write. So do you write them in there, or do you have to go back like some of these other authors and put them in
I usually write them as I'm
as they
going.
go?
There
Okay.
have been times when I will like end right before, like finish for the day and know I've got to write a sex scene in the morning. And it's like,
Mhm.
I should not have done that. That was not a good choice.
First thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and it feels like I used to hate them.
Hmm.
They made me so nervous, and I was trying to, be so careful and
Yeah.
not say all the words. And I've just kind of embraced it, like,
Mhm.
the last few years, and just like, okay,
Yeah.
this is what they're doing, and I may as well make it good.
Exactly. Say all the words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Mad Love, it's kind of a slow burn. So when we finally get there, it's like, oh, finally, yes.
Yeah. And then they don't stop.
Yeah.
Once they break that barrier, they're like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of saved it all up and then kind of put yourself in a position where you had to write a lot.
yes. Yeah. That was like, oh, maybe I need a little. I don't really drink very often, but it's like, okay, maybe I need a little something to
There's
help
something.
us along because it's heavy.
That's awesome.
So, what do you like to do in your free time?
I love hanging out with my family, and my kids
Mhm.
are grown, so it's like a treat when we're all together. Um, our daughter lives with her wife in we've got my mother-in-law used to live there. It's a mother-in-law apartment. So they've got their own kitchen and all of that. So we can go days without seeing each other. And then when we do, it's like, oh, this is so nice. And then my
Mhm.
son's away at college. So when he comes home, we all get together for sure. And those are my favorite times.
Yeah.
We love to watch shows together and binge something, and
Mhm.
yeah, and just hanging out. Good food. I love good food.
Mhm.
We do music. We kind of all sing and play something. So we have done a lot of that, like coffee shops or churches or schools or whatever. We've done a lot of singing as a family.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's
Family is the
really
most
cool.
important. So yeah. Yeah. We get that.
Yes. And time
Mhm.
with my girlfriends.
Yeah.
Love that. My
Yeah.
my best friend and I, we grew up in California together, and then she came here to visit and met her husband, so she lives here now, which is so
Oh,
nice.
Oh,
But we
you
had
see that? Her best friend moved closer to her.
you're the one that moved away, Jessica.
oh, mm, oh dear. Mm,
We're 4 hours away. Four. It's no, it can be a little less than that sometimes. It depends on the traffic, but
Yeah, or it can
we
be
can
like
make it
6.
work. Yeah.
oh,
I have to stop by Mandy's house on my way to my parents' house. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
You can. That's hard though after you're used to being in the same.
yeah,
But
it's been a handful of years and then some. So I mean, I moved when I was in my early 20s, so we're okay.
Yes.
mhm.
We we just have a lot of trips to book events, and then Mandy wants to have cuddle club because she misses me so much.
Nice.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
we
Oh,
get excited anytime we can go on a
Mhm.
trip
oh
anywhere.
yeah. We kind of have a few too many planned, but we're never going to complain. So, and the husbands don't complain because really they don't want to go. So they're fine with it. So, yeah.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
That was
like,
so
so
fun.
that's actually my next question. Will we see you at any author signings?
I will be at Wild and Windy in Chicago next month. Will you guys be there? No.
No.
No. The
And
one
then
wild and windy we're not doing.
mm, there's maybe a bookstore later in the year, but it feels like still maybe I don't know if it's really solid yet. But yeah, that's really it for the year. Next year, there's one in Minnesota that the Bells are doing.
We will be there.
You
Yes.
will?
Yes.
Oh, good. I was gonna look to see where else. There's one in Tennessee LitCon, maybe.
We're not at that one, I don't think.
Okay.
But some of our viewers might be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of trying to cut back a little because it throws me off writing wise when I have too many. Like after Phoenix, I got so sick and was.
Oh, we all did.
Yeah, really. You too?
Mandy didn't.
Oh,
I did because the weekend after Phoenix, I went to Romanticon in LA, and I thought I had pneumonia. Like it was. I mean,
yeah.
it was. I was fine till I got there, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, something's wrong." So I called my doctor immediately, and he sent over an antibiotic, and within 24 hours, I was feeling better. But it was bad. So
I
yeah.
was sick for weeks and weeks. It did not go away
I
quick.
think it was the whole February thing because that is cold and flu season and everybody's sick. It's respiratory season. Because then I heard that a ton of people were sick leaving Romanticon as well. So it just, yeah.
Because you
just
brought
going
it
around.
there?
Probably. I didn't know. Don't make me feel that guilt. I hope not. Like I took all the tests and stuff before I went. I was fine. It started out with just like, I'm kind of losing my voice. And I thought that was because I was doing 2 events back to back. And then it hit. And I was like, whoa, this is so much more than that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty crummy. So, yeah. That's the downside to events sometimes. But this is the first event after, we do, 5 on average a year. And
4 or 5.
we've never gotten sick except for this time in February. So, or you normally hear about it because you got a whole bunch of people in a room and people come home sick and
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've been that sick, but it was such a fun signing.
It was awesome. We're gonna go back next year. So they did a good job.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Bells one, that is in June of 2026, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We like the Bells. They put on a really good event. Yeah. We have a couple Bells events next year that we're going to, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. Their events are always, the flow of the room, how they set them up is always really good.
Yeah. And spacious. We like it when we're not sweaty.
Yes. Yeah. That's always nice.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you're like standing with authors doing pictures, and you're like, oh, just don't touch my back whenever you do, Yeah, because they do, no matter what time of year, no matter how cold it is outside, they get hot and steamy in there.
Right. Once we're all together, it's like, oh, I just thought I was going to be cold. It's actually quite hot.
Yes, exactly.
So before we ask our last question, is there anything else you would like to tell us about or anything you want to share that we didn't ask?
Just please read Wicked Love. The audio is so fun. And then Crazy Love, the last book in the series, will be out July 10th.
Okay.
So there's that one.
Writing that down.
Wicked Love just came out or it's coming out?
It came out
Thursday. Okay, Thursday. So go get that.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yes.
It's my favorite in this series.
I'm so glad.
All of them were 5 stars for me, but it's my favorite.
Thank you. Yeah. I was excited to write Bowie. I love the challenge of writing. He's not as grumpy as some I've written, but he's just very guarded. Like you don't know what he's thinking. He doesn't overuse his words. So it was fun to get in his head. So I enjoyed it. And
he doesn't really realize like how popular he is either. Like there's this whole Instagram account dedicated to him and his hair.
He
has no idea.
Clueless. He is his focus is football and his daughter, and not in that order. It's like, Becca comes first and football, and yeah, he doesn't want to fall in love. So yeah, of course he gets barreled over with it.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But in a very sweet way too.
Yeah, I was talking about this with another friend. Like, I don't think he would have taken it well if Poppy had been pushy, or she just is. She's a good egg.
Yes.
She's awkward, and yet smart, and she says all the wrong things, and yet very wise. So
I feel like your heroines are usually very relatable too. They have
sad.
something that makes them relatable.
Thank you. That is the hope. So I'm glad that that's coming across.
Yes. Like sometimes we read these books and like the football player, and then like these women that end up with them, and it's just like, oh wow, that's the dream, to be that stylish and put together all the time. And your characters feel very much like down to earth and relatable, and like how their stories come to be.
Like Sadie in Mad Love, she got so slammed in the press because she was not a good dresser,
Yes.
not stylish.
I feel like that's the. I mean, I couldn't pull it off. I would have been slammed in the press.
It'd be hard to live up to those standards.
Yes, especially when you're like a young mom and stuff too. No, you were lucky if my clothes were clean. I mean, I would have showered, but if there wasn't something on it from one of the kids all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, no.
Yeah, because she gets photographed and the pictures are not flattering of her at all, and everybody's like, oh, we wouldn't even recognize you if we didn't realize that it was you, type thing. And she's like, I was on my period.
Yeah.
Relatable
products.
Exactly. Like nobody wants to get all dressed up in tight clothes.
Nobody feels sexy. Yeah, you just want to put your sweatpants on and curl up in a ball.
Exactly.
No. Yeah. So
it's very wrong. She was wrong.
Yes, I'm going to try and get one more thing out of you, and you can tell us if you can't say. So you told us that when the last book comes out is in July, and then you teased that there's some characters in there we'll see in a new series. Yeah. Do you have an idea of when we might see that new series?
Yeah, October.
Yay!
I think October. I want to say October 10th as well, but I might be just on a roll with the 10s. October 9th. Excuse me. Pardon me.
Oh, awesome. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was going to be like, oh, hopefully sometime in 2026.
No.
So that's exciting. You already know?
Sure.
Yay.
Yeah. I'm hard at work on that one now. So, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed it all.
All right.
Well, that's the plan.
Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love when authors can kind of keep feeding us books consistently. Like, it's hard when a series ends and then there's just like this unknown of when we get to a new one. So
I want to always have a pre-order link for the next one when I put out a book. That is my goal. So I'm trying pretty much every 3 months when I can. I don't know that it will always be like that, but for now, that's what I'm going for.
Okay.
Awesome. I'm excited. That makes me happy that even though the series is ending, that new one is right around the corner.
Yes. Yay. Yeah. Hopefully you'll like these characters too. And yeah, like the way it resolves with the Single Dad Playbook series.
I'm excited for the last one too. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I love Penn, and I think he will shock people. So I'm ready.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. We've seen little tiny snippets of him and his personality, so
he's been fun to write.
He will be excited when he's an official member of the play club there.
Yes.
Single
Yes.
Dad.
Yeah, he's been the only one that it's like, but yeah.
Well, all right, let's go ahead and wrap up. So what is the best way for readers to connect with you?
I've my website, www.willowaster.com. I didn't say enough W's. And Instagram. Instagram is my favorite, but I don't know if everyone is still there anymore. Facebook, I'm there. I've got a reader group on there, Aster's reader group, something like that.
Okay.
I'm on TikTok, struggling along, but
we all are
trying.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Okay, well, thank you so much for being on, for coming and talking to us today.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks to everybody out there watching. We will see you guys in the next video.